Good morning, HOD Professor A.K. Chaturvedi sir, my seminar guide Rajiv Rajora sir, seminar coordinator D.P. Sharma sir, faculty members, examiners and my friends. I am Aditya Mantri, pursuing my B.Tech from University Department of Mechanical Engineering, Rajasthan Technical University, Kota. My seminar topic is Electronic Device Cooling Systems. So, this is going to be our list of contents. Firstly, the question arises that why do we need to cool electronic devices? The Joule heating law says that power consumption generates heat. That any device that consumes power in any form, like electrical or thermal, will surely generate heat. Now, we will discuss effects of heat on semiconductor. At semiconductor level, heat changes the junction behavior. Increased heat increases resistance to current, and post 160 degree temperature, resistance is decreased. And after that, thermal runaways takes place and device finally fails. After every 10% increase, lifetime decreased by approx 50%. For design purpose of cooling solution, for a CPU, a parameter TDP is defined. TDP stands for thermal design power in watts, which is defined as the power consumption under maximum theoretical load. Now coming on to the CPU packaging. Firstly, the chip is placed on the socket, then thermal paste is applied on the top surface of CPU, and lastly the heat sink or heat separator is attached to the CPU. Thermal paste acts as a conducting filler between CPU and sink surface. The other more capable cooling solution are microjet technology, which can produce cooling even up to 1000 watt per centimeter square by using phase change cooling and magnetic cooling, which magnetizes or demagnetizes to the transfer of heat. The passive cooling is a cooling where no input power is required. It is easy to design and inexpensive, but worse performance than active cooling. And this is how the passive cooling looks like. On the other hand, the active cooling requires external input or power. It can be both adaptive and inadaptive. Closed loop feedback of chips can be achieved, and dynamic cooling can also be done. And this is how active cooling works. It is basically a fan based cooling where combination of set of fans coupled with heat sink. When it is used in parallel combination for the flow is get doubled but pressure remains unchanged. But on the other hand, when we use in series, the pressure gets doubled and flow remains unchanged. Now coming on to the more effective liquid cooling technology, which is basically 5 components are used: integrated pump, cold plate unit, heat exchanger, liquid tubes and cooling liquid. The CPU generates heat transfer through the cold plates into cooling liquid. Warm liquid is pushed by pump into the outlet tube and heat towards heat exchanger. The chassis fan creates a gentle breeze toward heat exchanger, and heat from cooling liquid is now transferred to the breeze and heat is finally removed. In this cycle of cooling fluid, lastly removed, heat flows out of the heat exchanger and liquid repeats the same cycle again and again. Now, reasons to use water as cooling liquid are as follows. It is cheaper and non-toxic. It's a high thermal conductivity and specific heat capacity. And disadvantages of its use are the requirement of deionized water, which is not cheaper. Water causes corrosion in presence of air, and it may cause short circuit as ionized water conducts electricity. Now coming on to the very powerful cooling solution, which is liquid nitrogen, by the help of which CPUs can be operated at much higher frequencies, even up to 7 GHz. Liquid nitrogen is extreme coolant for short overclocking sessions. A copper or aluminum pipe is mounted on a CPU or GPU, then liquid nitrogen is poured into the pipe and a high performance can be achieved. The demerits of using liquid nitrogen are its need to be refilled after it evaporates, which is expensive, and liquid nitrogen condenses oxygen and other flammable materials which can be explosive. So that was all about my seminar topic. Thanks for listening to me.
So Aditya, tell me, how can cooling enhance the performance of a CPU?
Okay, sir. Sir, it is the fact that better cooling increases the performance because there is less heat inside electronic components. Less heat in these components means less resistance to current flow. This is how you get a smooth performing computer system.
How the cooling of CPU is done?
Yes, sir. The coolant absorbs heat from base plate as it moves through the water block. It then continues to move through the system and upwards through one or two tubes to a radiator. The radiator exposes the liquid to air, which helps it to cool, and fans attached to the radiator then move to the heat away from the cooler through forced convection.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.